Pilot Marcus Webb had been stationed on border frigate Axiom for 11 months, navigating the careful distance humans maintained with their Sarathi allies, a warrior species whose honor codes and ritual language remained mysterious even after 2 decades of alliance. He was running diagnostics in the observation bay when Commander Zytha entered, her long ears angled in focused intent. She'd been watching him for weeks with intensity that made his skin prickle, and tonight she cornered him with her back to stars and asked a question that sounded like pure seduction. "Do you want me now or later?" Marcus froze because the question felt loaded with meanings he couldn't decode, her voice low and dangerous and somehow vulnerable all at once. Every instinct screamed to give a bold answer, to match her intensity with confidence, but something in her posture, the slight tremor in her hands, the way her long ears had flattened against her skull, stopped him. Instead, he answered with careful honesty, "I want you when you choose to be wanted, not when I decide to take. So later if that's what you need, or now if that's what you want. Your terms, your timing." The effect was immediate and shocking. Zytha's composure cracked like ice under pressure, her breath catching audibly, and for a moment Marcus thought he'd said something catastrophically wrong. Then she stepped back, her expression shifting through surprise into something that looked like relief mixed with terror, and she whispered that he just passed a test he didn't know he was taking. Zytha explained in fragments, her usual command authority fractured by whatever just happened between them. The question wasn't seduction, it was the ritual of intent, a cultural test Sarathi warriors used to expose whether potential partners saw them as prizes to claim, threats to dominate, or people with agency worth respecting. Most answers demonstrated possessiveness or aggression, revealing incompatibility before bonds formed. Marcus's response, giving her control, establishing consent and boundaries, violated every expectation she'd built over years of being pursued by warriors who saw her rank and strength as challenges to overcome. His restraint hit harder than any bold move could because it treated her as equal rather than conquest. Now she was trapped in cultural paradox. His answer marked him as compatible by Sarathi law, but pursuing partnership with a human violated unspoken rules about maintaining species separation. Word spread quickly through the Sarathi contingent. Some warriors respected Marcus's unexpected wisdom, others viewed it as manipulation, and a dangerous few saw it as weakness proving humans unfit for alliance. Zytha's second-in-command, Lieutenant Kavros, confronted Marcus privately with barely concealed hostility, suggesting he withdraw before this situation damaged Zytha's command authority and disrupted unit cohesion. But Marcus had seen the vulnerability Zytha showed him, the exhaustion of being treated as weapon rather than person, and walking away felt like betraying the first honest moment they'd shared. The tension escalated into dangerous territory. Human command became aware when Sarathi officers filed formal concerns about inappropriate conduct between species. Captain Okonkwo summoned Marcus for what started as professional inquiry and became something more personal. She'd been navigating human Sarathi relations for 5 years and knew how easily cultural gaps became crises. She explained that Zytha held precarious position as one of the youngest commanders in Sarathi military history, appointed over older rivals who resented her rapid advancement. Any perception of weakness or impropriety could trigger challenges to her authority, and partnership with a human, especially one who passed her ritual test, might be exactly the scandal her enemies needed. Okonkwo ordered Marcus to maintain professional distance, but before she could make it official command, Zytha requested joint meeting. In Okonkwo's office with the door sealed, Zytha spoke with brutal honesty about why she'd administered the ritual of intent. She'd been pursued relentlessly by warriors treating her rank as prize and her strength as challenge, never once being seen as person beyond duty. Marcus's answer gave her something she'd stopped believing existed, recognition that her agency mattered more than conquest. She asked Okonkwo directly whether human Sarathi partnerships were forbidden or merely discouraged, and when Okonkwo admitted they weren't explicitly illegal, just culturally complicated, Zytha made her position clear. She wasn't interested in secret affair or scandal. She was interested in partnership with someone who saw her, and she was willing to face whatever consequences that choice brought. The question was whether Marcus was willing to do the same. Marcus took 3 days to decide. 3 days where he watched Zytha command with the same intensity that first caught his attention, where he saw her navigate warrior politics and cultural expectations with exhausting precision, where he realized she'd been alone in ways that had nothing to do with being surrounded by people. On the 4th day, he requested formal audience with Zytha's commanding officer, Admiral Thane, who sat across from him with long ears angled in obvious skepticism. Marcus explained his answer to the ritual of intent wasn't manipulation. It was honest response to question that deserved honest answer. He acknowledged the cultural complications, the political risks, the ways this partnership could become weapon against Zytha's command. But he also pointed out that Sarathi culture claimed to value honor, strength, and agency, and that refusing Zytha the right to choose her own partner undermined those very principles. Thane listened in silence, then asked Marcus what he thought he was offering that Sarathi warriors cannot. Marcus's answer was simple: nothing except seeing her as Zytha instead of Commander Zytha. That shouldn't be rare, but apparently it is. Thane's expression was unreadable, but he granted provisional approval for Marcus and Zytha to pursue partnership under observation, with clear understanding that any scandal would end both their careers. The announcement triggered immediate backlash. Cavros challenged Zytha's judgment publicly. Human crew members questioned Marcus's motives, and rumors spread through both contingents about interspecies relationships and cultural contamination. But there were unexpected allies too. Older Sarathi warriors who remembered when the ritual of intent meant something beyond political theater, human officers who'd watched Marcus's integrity for months, and even Captain Okonkwo, who admitted privately that maybe some rules needed challenging. Marcus and Zytha's first official date happened in the observation bay where everything started, both exhausted and slightly terrified. Zytha admitted she didn't know how to do this, how to be partner instead of commander, how to trust someone with vulnerability she'd spent years armoring against. Marcus admitted he was completely out of his depth but figured they could learn together, one honest moment at a time. They talked until shift change, about fears and hopes and the absurdity of falling for someone because they respected your agency in a moment designed to test it. Outside the bay, political forces mobilized and careers hung in balance. But inside, two people began building something fragile and defiant: partnership based on consent, respect, and the radical act of seeing each other as human and alien both, people worthy of choice and agency regardless of what cultural rules or ambitious rivals thought. It wouldn't be easy.